Now, there have been several countries where the Omicron variant cases have been confirmed, and keeping that in mind, India has now put forth a slew of fresh guidelines, particularly for travellers coming in from other countries. 12 nations have been identified as high-risk nations, and for them, there are separate rules that have been put in place. But for all international travellers, anyone touching down in India from other countries, they will have to carry a negative RT-PCR report before boarding the flight to India. Those travelling from the high-risk countries will have to undergo a second RT-PCR test upon arrival, and there's also a mandatory quarantine period for them of 7 days, after which they will be tested again. So there'll be a third test that's conducted. Sample testing will be done for travellers coming from countries who are excluded from the flagged up countries, who are identified as those coming from other countries, not the high-risk ones. In all of the cases, if any of the traveller tests positive, genome sequencing will be conducted to confirm the COVID variant. Now, the high-risk countries are 12 of them. These are all European nations. The United Kingdom, South Africa, Brazil, Bangladesh, Israel and China are in this list. Many of these countries have registered cases of the highly dangerous Omicron variant. The government has also issued an advisory to all states to be on alert and to prepare an action plan in case of any contingency. Many states like Maharashtra and Karnataka have also ramped up testing now. The World Health Organization, meanwhile, has clarified that at this point, there's no details. It's not clear if the Omicron variant is more transmissible or causes more severe disease, for that matter, compared to other variants of COVID. The WHO has said that currently there's no information available to suggest that the symptoms of Omicron are different from the other variants of COVID-19, but they have flagged it off as a variant of concern. Let's take this across to Sneha Murdani. She's joining us live with more details on this. Sneha, good morning. There's a lot of concern over the Omicron variant. No confirmed cases right now in India, but just give us a list of the countries in which cases have been reported and also what the WHO has had to say about this variant.
Yes, good morning, Akshata. You're right about many countries reporting these cases. Canada, Ottawa. We also have Germany and Italy in addition to the countries already that were reporting cases. Israel, for example, Botswana, Hong Kong and South Africa, where it was first detected essentially. South Africa or Botswana, where it was first detected. These are the countries, but let me tell you, and this is not to cause panic or alarm, but because the manner in which countries had opened up and there are no restrictions in travel also. Of course, restrictions have come in now from various countries that have blocked South African nations essentially. But there is a possibility that this variant would have traveled to other countries. And that's the reason why there are many who say that at this point in time, banning international travel isn't the solution. What one needs to do essentially is to test and to track, more importantly, track and to ensure that there is no spread or no rapid fire sort of a spread that we had seen earlier. There is a lot of speculation about this being extremely transmissible, perhaps more than the Delta variant. But that, again, let me tell you, also still right now lies in the realm of speculation. It is only being said because in South Africa, the positivity rate actually increased from 1% to 30% in a week's time in some areas. And that's the reason why it's being speculated. But the WHO says that whether Omicron was the reason or whether there were some other factors contributing to it is something that only epidemiological studies will clarify. And we can't draw a conclusion from that saying that it is more transmissible. The WHO has also said that what it does is reinfection. It can cause reinfection. So if you've had COVID in the last 2 years, maybe twice, there's a possibility that you could get it again. But right now, that's the limited evidence we have. Having said that, I want to repeat this, and we often forget that we really have to be back to the basics as far as Omicron is concerned, because what we have is protection, what we can do to keep ourselves safe, because no matter what variant, that is something that's going to go a long way in helping us keeping safe to a great extent.
Very, very important what you just said there, Sneha. Thank you very much for joining us. Sneha, breaking down what the WHO has had to say on the Omicron variant. There's a lot of panic, a lot of fake news also spreading about the Omicron variant. Listen to what the WHO says. And as Sneha pointed out, of course, we can all do our bit by ensuring that we wear our masks, keep, of course, social distancing and follow all of those norms to ensure that we keep COVID at bay. I also want to tell you how the central government has taken steps to ensure that we're ready for any eventuality or any contingency. Advisories have been sent across to state governments. Several states have already ramped up testing in view of the Omicron threat. Here's a roundup of all those updates.
India is ramping up COVID fight. Just as daily cases in India dip to less than 10,000 a day, a brand new threat stalks the world. Omicron, a new, more infectious COVID variant with possible vaccine-dodging capabilities. Amid looming threat, the centre issued an advisory to states on action plan. The letter from Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan says states must monitor hotspots, putting international flyers from at-risk nations to screening and 14-day mandatory quarantine. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal wrote to Prime Minister Modi calling for a ban on flights from countries affected by the new variant.
दिल्ली के तमाम अस्पतालों और तमाम सार्वजनिक स्थलों पर कोविड प्रोटोकॉल को पूरी तरह से पालन करने का सख्त आदेश जो है वो दिया गया है। दिल्ली के राज्यपाल अनिल बैजल की तरफ से अहम बैठक की गई जिसमें दिल्ली के मुख्य सचिव, पुलिस आयुक्त और तमाम वरिष्ठ अधिकारी भी शामिल हुए और इसके साथ साथ ये फैसला लिया गया कि तमाम जो सार्वजनिक स्थल हैं और बाजार हैं उनमें कोविड नियमों का सख्ती से पालन किया जाए।
In Maharashtra, the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai announced mandatory testing for select international passengers and strict penalty for violators.
जो प्रवासी आ रहे उनको, जो दक्षिण अफ्रीका हो या दूसरे देश से आते कंट्री से, तो उनको जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग का चेक करना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद जो हमारे देश में आते तो उनको क्वारंटाइन करके वो सब चेकिंग होने के बाद ही छोड़ा जाएगा।
After a brief scare over 2 people testing positive on arrival in Bengaluru, Karnataka has scaled up testing too.
All these tests we have sent to our labs, genomic sequencing labs. We are awaiting those results in another 5 to 6 days. Then I think we'll be able to tell you what kind of a strain is this. But we are definitely concerned with the new Omicron variant.
Chief Minister of Bihar and Madhya Pradesh too chaired meetings to discuss the threat of the new variant.
Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan today called a meeting at CM residence on new COVID variant. Officers informed the Chief Minister that as of now, there is not a single case of COVID new Omicron variant in Madhya Pradesh, but as a precaution, state government has taken few decisions today in this meeting held by the Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan.
Will the new variant bring back fresh lockdown and derail the road to recovery? Bureau Report, India Today.